Will the real Connor Hellebuyck please stand up? That's the question. Who's going to show up tonight? The Vezina winning Connor Hellebuyck, who's about to win the Vezina very shortly, or the one who gave up 19 goals against through the 4 games so far in this series, which matches a career worst? To discuss that and more, let's go to Winnipeg and bring in John Liu. John, you've seen Hellebuyck for a big chunk of his career. What's your expectation from him tonight?
Well, Gino, I think for Connor Hellebuyck and for all his teammates, they're going to play their best game. Rick Bowness said this morning that he's very confident that everybody's going to bring their A game. And really, they have no choice. I mean, it's like, well, you do want to do locker cleanout tomorrow? He says that there isn't anybody in the room that is prepared to do that. And so expect to see the Jets' best effort from the net out. But in Connor Hellebuyck's case, like you said, hey, he's probably going to win his second Vezina of his career, and deservedly so. But the fact is that Hellebuyck and all his teammates, in terms of defensive coverage, in terms of just keeping the puck out of the net, a lot of room for improvement, because you break down the numbers, and Hellebuyck said that this time of year, stats don't matter. Well, the thing is, they may not matter, but they're still an indicator. And the fact is that Hellebuyck, out of the 23 goalies who've suited up in the playoffs this year so far, he's minus 2.6 for goals saved above expected. He's 23rd out of 23 goalies. During the regular season, he was number 1 amongst NHL goalies with plus 33. So he's at the exact polar opposite end of the spectrum in there. So there's room for improvement, but there's certainly lots of room for improvement for his teammates in terms of their defensive structure and their system play in front of him. And that's what we're going to be looking for from the Jets, because you know what? They've got to change this narrative, Gino. Hellebuyck, in his tenure with the Jets, he's 1-5 in elimination games, and the team in those 5 elimination games, they've lost 4 straight 3 times. So this is something that they absolutely don't want to go down that road again. Yesterday, Adam Lowry said that, yes, there will be that narrative that'll be brought up. You can't live in the past. You can take your mind off of what's happening in the present, but they got to change the present. They got to win an elimination game tonight, and then another one, and then try to get to a Game 7 if they're going to try to change people's minds and perceptions about what this club is all about, and that includes Connor Hellebuyck, because he's the Jets' MVP.
It's always interesting to watch how coaches react to this kind of adversity. And Rick Bowness seems extremely calm and not the least bit hesitant about pointing the fingers. Because today you were part of that scrum where you guys were talking to Bowness and asked him, are you going to make any lineup changes? And he wasn't subtle about it. He said, yes, we're making performance-related lineup changes. He wanted to send that message very loud and clear. This is not just lineup changes for the sake of changes. He was not happy with some performances. Did you follow up on that to find out what exactly he was talking about specifically there?
Well, I think you can see it in the changes that he made to his lineup, Gino. Tyler Toffoli was moved from the second line with Sean Monahan down to the fourth line. And, he had the goal in 2 games ago, in Game 3, which was the first goal for his line with Sean Monahan and Nikolai Ehlers. But that was a real softie that Alexander Georgiev let in. It's not like that anybody from that line has been producing or bringing the performances that they're capable of. And so Toffoli is down on the fourth line this evening with David Gustafsson at center, who draws back into the lineup. And Toffoli will have Alex Iafallo on the left wing, and they have familiarity from their days together in L.A. Toffoli will still be on the second power play unit, so they're going to try to get him as many minutes as they can in a limited 5-on-5 role, but he'll still have his man advantage duties. But the big move up front, and this is related to the performance of the second line or lack thereof, is that Cole Perfetti will get his first action in the NHL playoffs. And when we were talking to him today, we could sense, that there's a mix of excitement and nervousness. But really, the key for Perfetti is to, as Rick Bowness said, is just go out there and play his own game. Don't let the moment become bigger than it is. And for Perfetti, one element of his game that he can help his team is his puck possession, because when he's holding onto the puck and with poise and gaining time and space, then he's able to make plays. And that's something that the Jets haven't been able to do, is to possess the puck as much. They're turning it over too much. And that's something that Perfetti's going to have to be very aware of, because the Avalanche have really upped their game in terms of their puck pressure. And so you can't hold on to it too long, But the fact that that's part of his toolbox, and the fact that he was almost a 20-goal scorer, a career high this season, they need goals, and that's something else that Bowness said, is that their offense, he's been happy with their offense, they just haven't been scoring enough, and that he feels that they increase their chances to score with Perfetti in the lineup. And then the other major move on offense is that Nikolai Ehlers goes from the second line up to the top line with Mark Scheifele and Gabriel Velarde. And that's a trio that was extremely productive from a stretch of 1 month from December into January when Kyle Connor was out with a sprained MCL. And so they produced in spades. They were put together again late in the season, 4 games together where they didn't really generate much, but Rick Bowness is going to the well, going to try to get something, anything out of combinations that have produced in the past, simply because if they don't produce tonight, well, it's season over.
Yeah. What's the update on Vladimir Meslikov? Because that was so nasty, watching that Nate Schmidt puck get deflected into the side of his face and right into his cheek. What's the update there?
Yeah, well, Bowness said that he saw Nemesnikov today and said that he has a very colorful cheekbone, Gino, is referring to the fractured cheekbone on the left side of his face that he sustained. But there's absolutely no way he was going to be ready to suit up for tonight. Bowness said that he spoke to Nemesnikov on the phone last night when the winger got back to Winnipeg, and he said that Nemesnikov described himself as nauseous because he hadn't eaten since the accident, and that he was not feeling good at all. And so he is not in the mix, and rightfully so. It's like it's questionable whether he'd be able to come back into the lineup should the Jets extend this into game 6 or 7. And same goes for Brendan Dillon. He's not available tonight, and he's at least another couple of games away. We'll just have to see how things play out tonight if the Jets are able to give those players an opportunity to suit up again this season.
John, help me to understand. I mean, you were talking briefly about the offense and lack thereof. They scored 6 in game 1, John, but they've got 5 goals total, the Jets do, over the following 3 games. It's not like they're facing a stellar goaltender in Alexander Georgiev, whose .885 save percentage right now is 13th best in the league. What's going on? Is it the Jets' offense that just has lost its confidence? Or are the Avs doing something in front of Georgiev to protect him and make him look like George Vezina out there?
Yeah, well, it's the Colorado system. Like whether in all 3 zones, it's like, let's start in the offensive zone. Their forecheck is so ferocious and so fast and effective against the Jets that they're forcing turnovers in the offensive zone. And so the O-zone time, it hasn't been as skewed as it was in the first game, but it still hasn't been enough for the Jets. The shot attempts are very much favoring the Avalanche throughout the entire series. In the neutral zone, we've seen time and again in this series where the Avalanche have been able to take advantage of seams or opportunities for stretch passes, that they are owning the neutral zone as well. And in the defensive zone, they're playing structured hockey. They're pressuring the Jets, whether at the point, in all layers. At the point, down low, they're winning puck battles. The Jets are not taking enough shots to Rick Bowness's liking. And so it's like everywhere on the ice, the Avalanche are winning battles, whether it's 50-50 battles or you name it. And so that really is, it's exposing all parts of the Jets game, and the fact that they aren't able to play in the defensive structure that made them the stingiest team during the regular season. Somehow they're going to have to find a way, and this is what Bowness said yesterday and today, is that they're going to have to bring intensity and compete level at every inch of the ice. They're going to have to win their battles in order to try to implement their system and generate some sort of meaningful offense where they can crack Alexander Georgiev.
Start winning some 50-50 battles, start putting some pucks in the net, or the Winnipeg Jets will have the entire offseason to try to figure out what went wrong and how to fix it for next year. The Jets face elimination on home ice tonight against the Colorado Avalanche. John Lewis joined us from Winnipeg.